People say that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. The same goes for art. Everyone sees art differently. Anyone can make art and call themselves an artist. Some people sketch, some paint, others carve sculptures. But not everyone can create art that people can appreciate. I could randomly splash some ink onto a blank canvas and call that art. But would it be displayed in galleries? I think not. Having said that, I happen to know someone who prefers painting without a paintbrush. Meet Hongyi, also known as Red, which represents the character Hong in her name. She is an artist come architect who's famous for her talent in painting portraits with materials unrelated to art. I met her back in her hometown in Kota Kinabalu, Sabah, not long ago to dig out a little bit of history through a trip on the oldest running steam train in Borneo.
When you first started art in school, were you always one of those students who got A's?
I was probably one of those. Friends would come to me and go, hey, can you finish up my art assignment? So art class was fun for me.
Did your parents send you to art classes outside of school?
Eventually when I got into high school, but my parents, both of them draw as well, so they would coach me a bit. My dad's really into sketching and my mom's into painting.
So it definitely didn't skip a generation in your case.
I think a lot of people come to me and tell me that it's something that you're born with, but I think it's something that can be
taught.
Yeah, I took up art classes during the weekends with this guy who majored in fine art.
You went on to do architecture in Australia, right?
So I studied for 5, did an internship for 1 year, and then I did some foundation sort of pre-university things.
So when did all that change? Because you worked with Australian architect firm in Shanghai for 2 years.
I worked straight away after graduating, and then while I was there, I was inspired to document my life in Shanghai because it was a totally new chapter for me. So I thought, okay, during the weekends I'll just do something a bit more meaningful instead of going out and partying and things like that. I'll just do art.
I'm sure you got a lot of really great positive feedback. Did you get any haters though?
Probably, like I would have people going, you know, she did some video editing about it, you know, it's not really her and things like that. I guess that's normal in online forum. At that time I was a bit, you know, scared about that, but now I'm totally fine. Like I think my skin has grown a lot thicker. So one of the biggest encouragements I've gotten from people are people who are not into art. They're like, you know, I don't really like art, but I like what I've seen, and could you do more? It's really interesting to me. So that really pushes me on. So I guess that's why I continue.
Our train ride might be ending soon, but my journey of getting to know Hongyi doesn't stop here. We decided to relax our minds and continue our chat at one of the most beautiful locations in Kota Kinabalu. Hongyi and I are at the Kasih Sayang Health Resort, which holds a stunning 360-degree view of practically the whole of Sabah. It was by far the most incredible scenery and atmosphere for some quality time with my best girl.
People look to artists for inspiration and for creativity. Are you ever worried that that well of inspiration is ever going to run dry?
After putting up that Yao Ming video and the Jay Chow video and all that sort of thing, people commenting, going, oh, great, I love your project. When's the next one coming out? I think a lot of people probably think that, oh, I'm able to just switch on and create something like just right now. But it takes a lot of planning. I think for me, it's a lot about going to new places and meeting new people and exploring and investigating about my surroundings. That's what keeps me inspired.
So when it comes to your techniques, because you're quite unconventional in your style, do you think there's any kind of area that you would not touch? Are there any prohibited zones where you won't go?
I've never really thought about that, but I think I told you my phobia would be snakes.
So if someone were to give you $1 million,
$1 million. No, I think I'll cry if I do that.
Okay, when did you realize that actually I'm pretty good at this?
I think the first boost of confidence was when I was 7. It was this art competition. My dad enrolled me in that actually. There's a bit of a story behind that. Dad and mom at that time, they were in a bit of a shaky sort of phase in their relationship. I think Dad wanted to sort of, I guess, win Mom back in a way, and he taught me how to draw fishes and play with colors and all that sort of thing. Well, in the end, and I won that prize, and I think that was something that gave me a lot of confidence, and when that happened, Dad got Mom over. I think it was a bit of an emotional moment to see me go up and all that. And
it's like something out of a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, I guess that's something a bit close to my heart that I'm really grateful about.
Creating art out of simple and mundane materials has become Hongyi's signature. To her, this helps to form a stronger connection to people. And I wish I had the chance to admire her artwork in person. But unfortunately, my time here is up. So I'm sending my girl Megan all the way to Shanghai, China, where Hongyi is currently based.
Wearing print on print was once taboo in fashion because the wrong combinations can ruin your entire getup, but not anymore. So long as you keep these few tips in mind, mixing prints can add a brand new wow factor to your fashion style. Firstly, if you're not sure whether the patterns are going to go well together or you just want to play it safe, start matching prints from a similar color palette. This way, the contrast of prints won't look as intimidating. Like this black and white outfit I've put on. This striped top goes really well with these busy shorts because of their monochromatic theme. Shoes and accessories are great to neutralize two different pattern pieces. A pair of strapped black heels with a hint of gold helps to break up the prints in an understated way. You can also throw in some neutral colored bling to bring your outfit from dull to fabulous. You can also try combining muted prints with smaller scales. Patterns with backgrounds that don't compete too much with the main designs is a more subtle way to tiptoe into the print-on-print trend. For instance, this sleeveless peplum top and pencil skirt both contain soft colors and small prints that aren't as daunting from a distance. Last but not least, remember to keep your silhouette simple when you pair prints. If you're wearing a bunch of patterns, try not to go over the top by adding too much detail to your outfit. This will keep your look from becoming unbalanced and overwhelming. Just like the first look, adding more neutral accessories is just right for this ensemble. Mixing prints and patterns is a bold and fashionable way to play with your wardrobe. So if you're feeling a little more daring and confident today, why not just upstage your look, have a little bit of fun, and go crazy with prints? You might just be surprised by the outcome.
Shanghai, China, and what better way to kick off my adventure than with one of my favorite things to do of all time, shopping! Which is why I'm here at Tianzifang, one of the most well-known shopping havens in Shanghai. And obviously, I didn't travel all the way here just to shop. I'm here to meet the star of the show, which reminds me, where is she?
Tianzifang is also known as the Soho in Shanghai. It is a popular nest for design studios, craft shops, art galleries, and so much more. One cannot deny that it is a booming place for art and culture. Therefore, it is absolutely fitting that I am meeting Hongyi here.
Hongyi! Welcome to Shanghai! Thank you! Wow, there's so many people!
I know, yeah.
So which way do I go? Because I'm a bit lost right
This is the famous Tianzifang, like on the second and third floors. They're all residential areas. So
there are still people living there?
Yeah, so you see people hang out their laundry and cooking and things like that. So it's a really nice mix inside.
Shall we?
Good? Yes.
For men of fear, soldiers of shame, I've heard your voice.
So what is so overwhelming though? Just looking at this map, I'm like, where are we now?
We are here, I think.
Okay.
So when we go in here, these are all sort of commercial shops that sell souvenirs and things like that. And at the back we have the cafes, and then here we have the galleries. When you walk in, you would see notice boards on your left that tell the community, what events are coming up.
Tianzifang is amongst the few buildings that are still intact and true to the authentic features of old Shanghai architecture. I am blown away by its structures, and just listening to the way Hongyi raves about the buildings in the area, you can almost immediately tell just how passionate she is about architecture.
Wow, so these buildings are like 100 years old.
Yeah.
It's wonderful how they managed to preserve it like this.
Yeah, this is what's really charming about Shanghai. There's a lot of spaces like this throughout the city, and there's a nice contrast between the old and new. But there's going to be more and more skyscrapers popping up.
So they're going to demolish the old buildings?
They will,
oh no,
but this
that's
place
such a shame
will be
though.
preserved. Yeah, that's true. Like, could bring you to the real local sort of Longtang community spaces like this. It's totally different. It's quiet, but you'll see people playing mahjong and selling vegetables and
Over
things
here,
like that.
like in this area?
No, it's another area around this place as well.
Let's go.
Moving to Shanghai for Hongyi was closer to home than I had expected. As she led me to a distant neighborhood, I soon discovered more about her roots in Shanghai. And the best part was, I even got to check out the site where she hung one of her famous portraits.
This is where your family lives?
Yeah, so this has been around for about 100 years. So my great-grandparents used to live here, and then my grandparents, and then my dad, and then my dad's generation moved to Sabah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, 3 generations?
3 generations.
And then your dad moved to Sabah?
Yeah. So yeah, this is the little alleyway where I hung my sock portrait.
Oh, right.
I think it was hung on one of these here. Yeah. So these are all meant for laundry. You put your bamboo sticks like that, place it like that, and then hang your laundry. So I thought that was inspiration for my sock portrait. And then my neighbors came out to help me.
Like, that's how you brought like the community together.
Yeah.
I saw in your video that
That was
everyone
fun.
just like surrounded you, watching you.
Yeah, so I lugged everything out from here because I was doing it in my living room downstairs here. So this door was open and we pulled it all out.
So do you naturally keep everything that you make?
Yeah, I do.
Hongyi is still in the process of setting up her own art studio, so in case if you're wondering where she stores all of her previous artwork or if she has sold them, well, the answer is no. She is very thankful to her former employer who is generous enough to lend her some space to store her old pieces.
I'm trying very hard not to turn into a fangirl right now.
Really?
Yeah, this is amazing. This is like jaw-dropping. Seeing it up close is just wow. How many socks did you use for this one?
I can't remember. I think there were about 3,000 socks.
How do you even visualize something so big? This is like so huge. Do you have to kind of like pin it and then go back and then look at it and then pin it again?
And then there were sketches and things like that. And I had to look at the computer, the sketches, and then pin it up and then have a small little model and see if it works all right or not. That relates a lot to my architecture sort of background as well.
And how do you pick your personality or that prominent figure to feature?
I like to choose people who are probably in the news, people who inspire me.
Yeah.
And I like to pick a material that sort of has a connection with them. So
Oh,
that's
okay.
that's how I pick mine. But with the socks, a lot of people ask me why
Yeah, I was
socks?
just gonna ask you, so
Why socks?
what does he have to do with socks? He likes wearing socks.
Yeah, I know. I feel very bad about it. But Zhang Yimou, what happened was Zhang Yimou's work. He likes to, I guess, highlight a lot of Chinese culture in his movies, and he uses a lot of interesting costumes, brightly lit costumes on, not brightly lit, just colorful costumes on bamboo poles. So that inspired me, and then I started to experiment with shirts hung on bamboo poles, but it was too heavy and too big, so I decided, okay, the smallest garment would be sock. But I didn't think that it would go viral and things like that, and apparently he's heard of this before.
So do you like painting better with materials or like just using?
I like both. If I just stuck to painting, I'd be bored, because with using materials, it's related to my training in architecture, and I do like to play around with spaces and objects and texture and things like that.
See, this is why you're a true artist. Have you ever done anything and then it didn't turn out the way you imagined it to be?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah?
All the time.
And then what do you do?
So
Do you
there's,
just scrap it or?
you have to just go with it.
So you've never really like stopped something halfway. It's been like just through and through all the way, even though.
Even if it doesn't turn out the way I wanted it to look, and it usually doesn't actually.
Wow, that's awesome.
Art was merely a hobby for Hongyi because her parents had once told her that it was difficult to survive and make a living as an artist. Well, as proven today, they were wrong. Things took a turn when she started posting her artwork online, and no surprises, people around the world began noticing because they were mesmerized by what they saw, myself included. It's safe to say that this girl is truly gifted and a born artist. Are you bored of tying your hair into a plain old ponytail all the time? Here's a quick and stylish way to amp up your hairdo. Firstly, comb your hair with a regular hairbrush. Gather your hair into a high ponytail and secure it with a hair tie. If you've got stray hair sticking out of your ponytail, spray some hairspray onto an old makeup brush and tidy up those stubborn strayaways. Using hairspray this way makes the hairstyle look more natural. Next, twist your ponytail towards the front and secure the top with some bobby pins. Use as many as you need to keep your hair in place. Here's another option if you prefer a messier style. Take small sections of your hair and create little twists. Secure this textured style with more hairspray and just repeat this step on random section. For a more elegant look, curl the ends of your hair and lock down those curls once again with your trusty hairspray. And that's it! Trust me, this fabulous hairstyle barely takes 5 minutes. So have fun styling and good luck! My little adventure in Shanghai continues today and I am beyond excited because
Hong-Yi has brought me here to the Shanghai Wild Animal Park because I'm such a huge fan of the zoo. Are you?
I love animals. I'm really excited to be here as well.
That's awesome because I heard there are over 10,000 animals here, and when you think of China, you think of the zoo. What's the first thing that comes into mind? 熊猫 Panda. That's right, pandas. 我要去看熊猫.
Yes, very good.
熊猫。
with my 6:30 command in Mandarin, I really hope I can find my way around. But I'm not too worried because there are always pictures on signboards and of course Hong-Yi, who by the way speaks really good Mandarin. Some animals here are even kept under special protection in the zoo, such as the Asian elephants, South China tigers, golden monkeys, and of course both Hong-Yi and my personal favorite, the giant pandas.
I bet their names are like Ching Ching and Ling Ling or something like that. They usually have that, right?
How racist!
No, I'm serious! Because in all zoos they have that name, right?
True.
What are you scratching?
But I imagine it to be a lot bigger and fluffier and whiter.
I thought they would be 2 or 3 times bigger than what they are.
Maybe these are the young ones.
Maybe.
Despite the sunny weather and spring allergies, I enjoyed every bit of it and I couldn't be happier that Hong-Yi brought me to this wild animal park. Hong-Yi had to run off to grab some art materials for her next project. Well, I was absolutely fine with her leaving me for a bit until I found out where she had dropped me. This eerie building all by myself.
Once upon a time, cows were slaughtered here. Yes, it's a true story. But of course, over the years, they've retained this incredible architecture and transformed it from a medical factory to a cold storage facility. And today, it's a commercial hub for arts, music, and restaurants. Now it is known as the 1933 Slaughterhouse Mall.
This web of intertwining staircases, bridges, and corridors were designed by British architects and built by Chinese developers in 1933, hence its name. Alright, it isn't as scary as I put it out to be, but having said that, I was glad to have Hong-Yi back to save me from wandering around this place alone because, as you can see, it's pretty easy to get lost in here.
Very cool to see, I think, connections and bridges running through.
Right.
You don't see a lot of malls like this anymore. And then
Why do you think it has stopped though? I mean, like, why wouldn't people build the way they do?
Because I think it takes a longer time, and now you just want to churn out work, and then get buildings rising up really quickly.
Wouldn't that be scary though? I mean, it wouldn't be as solid as
I think
the
that,
buildings in the
like
past.
technology-wise, like you can design it in a way that it's still solid and stands firm,
Right.
while reducing the amount of time that you build it.
So and it's also like the material that you use.
Yeah. So you can
Which is a good
fabricate it in
point.
the factories and then bring it there and just like tilt it, and then that's it.
Later, we headed to the Bund, a famous waterfront that has been regarded as the symbol of Shanghai for centuries. If you're a tourist like me, you have to visit this area because the view of the city skyline is breathtaking.
This is like the perfect way to end my holiday here, which I can't
Oh
believe it's
no, you're leaving! I hope you had fun here.
I did. Thank you so much for taking me around though and like showing me Shanghai. It's my first time here. When you first came here though, were there like challenges that you faced?
Language was one of them. Transportation was one of them. The pace is so different. I'm from Sabah. It's really slow. Over here, you just have to rush everywhere and like fight for a taxi and things like that.
I know. I realized that it's like survival of the fittest.
Yeah, but it's easy to adapt actually. I thought it'd be very difficult, but it's a very international city, so you have everything here.
How would you, like, what kind of artist are you? Like, how would you describe yourself?
Because you know, you did tell me that, you know, when they think artist, they expect someone who's like hipster looking,
I dyed my hair a little bit because apparently I look too normal. That's what a lot of people tell me here, like people who interview me.
This is so little though. You can barely see it.
This is really pathetic. I think I should just dye my whole hair red. I'm just joking. I wouldn't do it. Look, this is the max out goal.
Of course, you've created like a lot of portraits from different materials and people and stuff. But if you could create something of yourself,
I think I would use just thumbprints because that's me. Like that has my identity on it. So if you look at it closely, you'll see my thumbprints everywhere.
are you gonna do it?
I might do it. Actually.
Really?
I'm thinking of doing a series.
That's quite exciting. I can't wait for that. And of course, what message would you have to girls out there?
Don't be afraid to try new things, take risks, make a lot of mistakes because through mistakes you learn and then you get better. So I think it's all about working hard, doing good work and being brave enough to share your mistakes and your work.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for
so
a wonderful time.
Thank you so much for coming over. I had a great time with you.
Me too.
3 years ago, like most of us, Hongi was just a regular girl working a regular day job, except in a foreign country. But she had bigger dreams. So one day, she took up the courage, stepped out of her comfort zone, and shared her dreams with the rest of the world. And clearly, it all paid off. She is a living testament that if you are bold enough to go after your dreams and chase after what you love, no matter what it takes or what people tell you, you'd be surprised as to what you're capable of achieving. Who knows? You could be in the next video with Jackie Chan. Next week on G-Thang Year 2.
Actually, Katrina and I are actually going through a 90-meter tunnel right now. Oh my god, my legs feel like jello.